Welcome back to Streamline Investigations, people. It's Marvin speaking. Thank you very much for all your support. Do press the subscribe button, people. It's free of charge and support the channel. Thank you very much. It's just one press of a button, and you can keep updated with everything that myself and Ali talks about. I can't go through all the messages, but I appreciate you all. I really, really do. Ali is working. Basically, she's basically retired professional, and she is working through the night sometimes to get information on missing Gus, which I thank very much. I have got a full-time investigations business, which she's aware of. So we're trying to bring sort of news out to you when you can, and obviously put videos out as soon. We are a little bit behind you, people, so don't worry, because we'll try and get the best information that we can. Ali does know a hell of a lot of reporters worldwide as well, so she gets information from them as well. So that is absolutely brilliant as well. We do work together on many cases. Previously, it was the Jay Slater case, which is coming to an end. I'm actually finishing videos of that. Also, a missing Jack O'Sullivan, who went missing in Bristol in March 2024, which is quite a bizarre case. We're on that case as well. So yeah, stick with us, people. We are planning to get together before the end of the week and put a video out together, so you can both hear us in action on that. We do a lot on Stream, my first channel, Streamline Entertainment, which covers many cases that were on there. But at the moment, Streamline Investigations is on the 4-year-old missing Gus Lamont. Okay, people, I can't read every message because I only plan to sort of make it 20 minutes, maybe 25. But thank you very much. Little Miss Sharon, thank you. Hello from Victoria, Australia. Thank you very much for your support. Julie Paul, thanks for making the report, clarifying the family agree the bizarre and not wanting any more help. It's the opposite of what a parent of a lost child would normally do. It is very sus. And all we said, Julie, is it because they know something we don't? But like I said, all we're trying to do is get as much information to find Gus. Thank you for providing your information and your thoughts. You are welcome. Business Ketchend Tarot, thank you very much indeed. And we are open for your suggestions and where you think Gus is at the end of the day, and your expertise. Tech and Tarot. Shanti, thank you for being able to read. Cheers, you're welcome. Deathly Robert says, I was immediately suspicious of the parents not showing their face. A statement as asking not for general public to look for little Gus. It's not the unusual way to treat missing child. It seems like a bit of a wild goose chase, and somebody does know something, and the parents wanted privacy. Like rings alarm bells to me. Yeah, I totally agree. Thank you, Desley. It's very odd. Your voice is familiar. Is your other channel Coffee with Craig? No, it's Linda. It's Streamline Entertainment. I've had Streamline Entertainment for 3 years. Streamline Investigations was in the dorm, but like I said, there was so much going on at Streamline Entertainment at the moment that I had to make a second channel, which it's been out for about maybe a year, but I haven't really done that many videos, not like Streamline Entertainment, but I thought I was going to build this channel up as well, and it's run a lot by Ali Harris as well. Open you, newbie Ali, thank you, Rochelle. I'm so sorry that you were not being taken serious, especially by those in authority. If it were my son, I'd be begging the whole Perth to help and thanking them. Definitely. Please be proud of yourself. You're a beautiful, caring, gifted soul, and please don't let any of these with evil and closed minds bring you down. Sending love, hugs, and gratitude to you. My God continue to protect and bless you and the beautiful Gus both. Do you know what? Anybody who can help, who's got any sense of direction, who's honest and true, and all we want to do, it's been what, 18 days now? And we still haven't found Gus, which is very, very worrying. It'll be 3 weeks on Saturday. So any help in finding this little boy is absolutely crucial. Not, not only to us, but to the family and for the searchers as well. Very important. Much love. Loves. Thank you, sister. Thank you very much. I think that's to Ali. You could have said brother as well. I'm joking. Another question I have: were there independent witnesses who last saw Gus? This is my point, Kevin Price. This is my point. And when? If so, when did they last see him? I know it may sound terrible, but why would we believe a word the family is saying about Gus's disappearance? For all we know, he could have been missing a lot longer, with all possible clues of his disappearance erased. This is the biggest problem. What I've got is, anyone else apart from the family, when did they last see Gus? Brilliant, brilliant. Big question. Rob says, from the beginning, I thought it was very strange with that the police took so long to release a photo of Gus. Surely a huge property like that wasn't run entirely by two grandmothers and a daughter with two very young children. What about the other workers? Were there any, and did they live in quarters in the homestead? Yeah, and if any of them disappeared, Robbie Oz, definitely, I agree there. Thank you very much for that. And like I said, who works there, IDs, and if anyone recently left the property over the last, it could say a couple of weeks and actually come back, you don't know. Tracy Fellows, or is there anybody, Rob, that they might have fell out with and have left the property recently? Even possibly should be considered. And sometimes those with the most perfect facades are the ones that hide the most skeletons. Not pointing fingers, however. Gloves should be off now, as the more people searching cannot possibly do any further harm. Footprints to other evidence would surely be long gone. I too get visions and messages come through. Haven't picked up anything with credence. It's a strange one. It could be simply as a presence itself, or it could be the whole lot more complex. I think Tracy Fellows, brilliant message there. I think it's a lot more complex than what we first thought. I think they have new information. Thank you very much. We are a little bit behind Stream Investigators, so just bear with us. But Ali is talking to reporters and many other people as well. So we're trying to get as much inside information that we can, that possibly before the news does. But I'll try and get it out as quickly as I can. Have they gone to the house and any of the buildings on the property? Do you know what? I don't think, Eva Girl, you got a good point there. I think they hadn't searched that property in the first couple of days. I don't think so. Maybe now they're doing it, but maybe the police went in, but I think they should have done a forensic. I really, really do. Gold Thomas, check the house thoroughly. The family know. Many people are saying around the house. Thank you, Golda Thomas. Max says, poor little guy, I'm praying for Gus. Heartbreaking. Yeah, definitely. Agree. Thank you. Cruelty free colour. What if he's inside the farmhouse? Yeah. And this is why everything should be checked. I just find, I know they're doing what they can, but I just find the police a bit lackadaisic around the house. I think that should have been searched in the first 48 hours. I really, really, really do. Because like I said, it's only what, sort of the last sort of 5 or 6 days ago, they've bought in basically cadaver dogs and search dogs. Nikki Allen mentioned, and I mean about the dogs around the property. Nikki Allen mentioned this case also, not on the ground, shall I say. She felt that he's already passed and that his body is somewhere down, and he's fallen down into something, maybe a well or a ditch. That's interesting. She would grant, yeah, but the problem I've got is how far can a 4-year-old go? That is my problem, and not be found. How far? They've got the best searchers out there in Australia, and yet They haven't found him yet, if he's fallen. Ivana says, now that's a good father. He looks buggered after 4-day search. Well done to all searchers. So good to hear a great outcome. Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for Ivana. Cug goes, have they got new evidence to resume the search? They must do. But the police, Cug, they're not going to tell us everything. Shawnee says, I've seen my vision to a dark black hair lady with a man in a white stone house. Very. Let's just hope, Shawnee, something comes of it. Yes, when Flenful, it's all a bit odd. I agree. Love us to you, beautiful. Thank you. Katala. What James says here. But should ask what the family were doing in the days leading up to the day they reported him missing. I believe Gus was deceased from foul play, deliberate or not, in the days prior to their claim that 5 p.m. was the last time they saw him. Claim the sound. Come on, guys. This has now become the thing they should be looking at. They will not find his remains anywhere close to the property. They made sure of that before reporting this story. James, I was thinking that, and that's a massive possibility, and I believe that was a real high percentage. This case is confounding, and baby Azira Chamberlain, which took years to fathom that mystery. The last bloody clothing was found 6 years later, confirming a dingo took her. Apparently the reason a predator, and never pursued as the cause. No one believed it, and inconsistent testimony from original trackers. He had struggled to provide consistent testimony and from an imitating course, leading to the confusion. Someone was accused. I've worked around Australia, and deserted outbacks can be frightening. There you go. I drove a couple of km into the Kimberley Desert, but was forced to turn back. I doubt Gus wandered away from a safe place near the homestead. Baby Azaria was taken from a tent, even when other tourists were around. However, Aboriginal trackers in Gus's case would have had contaminated sites from large volumes of people searching the property, destroying the evidence. So if no predator or misadventure, then it's either house or someone taking him. And that technically they're the only scenarios left. Shelley, that's brilliant. Really is. Unfortunately, when it comes to ego, you may not be listened to. Blessed be. Yeah. Blessings to all. Nettie, Melissa, thank you. April said, it's been too long. It's been really cold at night lately, and he's so young. I don't see how he could have survived this amount of time unless someone has taken him. I'd be trying to search every moment of my life until I found my kid, even if it took my whole life through. This is bizarre. It is, because I think, April, one of the biggest points, there's no trace of him. If we'd seen like his t-shirt, or horrible to say, people, because I want the boy alive, blood, or animal tracks, or some kind of fur, you could say, right, they've got something to work with, the police, but they've got nothing at the moment. May God rebuke those who now know about what happened to this precious little Gus. Have a heart and speak up for the sake of this little boy. He deserves it. Thank you very much, Eve Wright. Brilliant message. Angel says this poor child must have fallen or climbed down a mine shaft close to the house. That's not been found, and the opening may have been very small. Yeah, that could be. You could be right there. But again, with the searches, I would have thought if he'd gone, fallen somewhere down an old mine shaft, or an unsafe building, I think he would have been found by now. I really, really do. But if he's not found this time, I don't think he was ever on the property the time the family say he was there. Bizarre does not begin to explain this. Shanti, I agree. It's odd. Very odd, this case. They probably want to keep it in the family because they know who kidnapped the child, probably as a ransom, because the family owed someone something. Hopefully the police are helping to negotiate the return of this little one. Just hope he's not been trafficked. Just to comment on that. NCNZ, if not like people, would be rocking up at the farm all the time, so surely fresh signs of tyre tracks or footprints would have been some where on around the property. The whole case is weird, and it stands at the moment. Yeah, NCNZ, I totally agree with you. Something's got to give because it's been nearly 3 weeks. I just don't want it to be a case which just goes cold. Please don't. Lulu, Oz, abandoned mines throughout that property, deep, dark, and littered everywhere. I'm glad they have brought the army in. It is going to take them all to check all the mines and burrows. A little fella like that can easily be missed. You're right. You're right. Like I said, I'm not from Australia and I don't know the land, but like I said, it could mean that. Thank you, Lulu. John Taylor, the black trackers found footprints for months, not one sign of little Gus. Something strange. He's not out there. A lot more questions need to be asked. Yeah, I would definitely trust a tracker who knows that land, and yet they still can't find him, which is and he doesn't think that he's out there. Rebecca says first red flag was when I heard on the news that he couldn't be found by a grandmother at 5:30 p.m. and it wasn't reported until 8:30 p.m. That's like 3 hours. If that was my child on the property, I would have been almost immediate in the same scenario as William Tyrrell. They did the same thing hours before he was reported missing. How bizarre. How bizarre. That's some really good points, Rebecca. Lady Divine, did police confirm that they deployed cadaver dogs or just police dogs? I heard it was both. The dogs deployed didn't pick up a scent outside the property. Does this mean he's on the property? Well, didn't they just go? I heard they just went past the mound to, like I said, near the roadside, and that was it. So that's what made people think that a car may have taken him. The dog deployed didn't pick up a scent outside the property. Does this mean he's on the property? Bring out the cadavers. Many people said that, but I would have thought they've had cadaver dogs in. Police need to be looking at the movements of his family 2 weeks prior to the reported disappearance. I'm sure they are. Who was the last person to see Gus outside the family and outside the property 2 weeks prior to his reported disappearance? I know Gus was missing way before he was reported. But Lady Divine, deep thinking. I'm thinking that at the end of the day, do we just go on with the family's word, or is there more to this than meets the eye? Christy Mayo, timeline is very important. With was 27th September, a staged event. Gus's father was due to visit on the Sunday. Why did not the Aboriginal track up the dogs pick up Gus on the trail? If Gus was played at the front, if he was playing at the front of the house, where are the footprints? Like things. If you stage an event, nothing makes sense. The transparent seems to be controlling, like the head of the house. What is hidden from view? What other household dynamics? The family situation is not a typical situation, in my opinion. Food for thought. Yeah, definitely. Christine, great message there. I think there's a lot more going on than what we think. It gets dark very late there compared with the East. Thank you very much, 8 Swerve. Is the family invoice is most missing kids case or neglect? Could be both. Vega Winter, 27th of September feels like even longer than that. Can't imagine how frozen in time his loved ones must feel. Yeah, and we've got to support them because, like I said, they are innocent at the moment. James says the only feeling they are feeling, my dear vegan, is that they are hoping that they don't find Gus's disposal site. This was many days prior to reporting the story and a long way from the property. Interesting, James. Interesting stuff. Australia first. One boot print, nothing before it, nothing after pointing in specific directions. I would start the search on the opposite direction. Catherine says maybe he ran away to be with his father. He would be familiar with the road north, turning right, and could have just kept walking for a few hours. Yeah, but someone would have saw him. A car would have seen him until it got dark, then panicked and made a wrong turn home and got lost, came as beyond the search area. Have read many stories telling how far kids can walk if motivated. A 4-year-old walking on a flattish road could go quite far. That's possibly true. Who knows? Try not to think the family are hiding the truth. Interesting, Catherine. I agree with you. We just don't know, but we've got to keep an open mind. Thanks, Cugs. Use cadaver dogs, a third party involved, human eagle or port tail. Interesting. Kevin Price. How through research did they do in the immediate vicinity of the farmstead? Yeah, definitely. Everyone's talking about the home and the surrounding sort of farm area. If the police were walking around and they could see their own footprints then left behind, surely they have to ask themselves, why is it when we can leave footprints behind, yet we can't see any of little Gus's tracks despite him playing there for extended periods of time? What is that? Good point. Very, very good point. And why only one footprint and they're not even sure it is? People still wonder why the family doesn't want to be on the media. Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. You have to wonder why. I'm not just saying come out and do a massive speech, but just thank the public and what the police are doing. That's all we want. It's just some kind of nice communication. I'm not saying go on the news every 5 minutes, and crying and stuff like that. Yes, they are very upset, but what we want is just for them to say, look, thank you for what the police are doing. But maybe they're doing it through police sources. Closely says no evidence, no evidence. The statement no evidence is meaningless, trying to weigh you into thinking, oh no, foul play. But you could also say there is no evidence that he walked off. You could say there's no evidence that he was abducted. You could say there's no evidence that he was ever outside. No evidence means no evidence. You could not prove anything with nothing. Detectives are supposed to follow leads and follow evidence. If the last person to say they saw him alive says he was outside playing and there's no evidence of that, then you have the statement that has no physical evidence to support it. If the last person to see him alive did not call assistance for 3 hours when it was cold and dark, that is suspicious behaviour. That is a lead worth following. Gus deserves to be found. Police need to investigate all avenues. Not finding evidence of foul play doesn't mean shit. Just such a nothing burger of a statement. Mac says something very, very wrong here. I agree, Mac. Angelini looked for forensics evidence or professional medium. Linda in Sydney or Brisbane, Melbourne works for the forensic police to find people alive or dead. Interesting stuff. There's a few of them, mediums, who said that they think that he's underground somewhere. And that is the third one I've heard. They stated in named South Australia, Adelaide, the capital of the state, property near Yunta, and state of Australia, Western Australia, capital Perth. Yeah. Think human intervention or search further out. Interesting stuff. But they're big areas to search if he's been moved up. But he could be anywhere now. He could be there. I'm just saying, right? I don't want to be thinking too much out of the box. But like I said, if he'd been trafficked, basically, or sold into slavery, it's just a scenario, people. He could be anywhere. And he could be anywhere in the world by now. Nearly 3 weeks, 18 days. It's a long time for someone to go missing and end up in another country. No one's been brought in for question at the moment. Wild Spirit, good question. Thank you for that. Winsome Hunter. Right, I'm going to leave it there, people. Linda Daisies. Excuse me, sorry, why don't they send cadaver dogs into the house? Yeah, they should have done that within the 48 hours, I think. If someone's abducted him, wouldn't there be time marks around the property? Good point. This is why everyone's saying concentrate on the house. Nothing adds up here, sadly. It's going to go down to the bottom because we're running out of time, people. Eureka. Just going to go down, people, and I'm just going to come back up. There's so many messages and I'm unable to read them all. So I'm just going to pick some out. I think. Go back up. Yes. So, Eureka, she says, be really careful around these psychics. Listen and go for the sane and consistent people. These phony psychics will be jumping all over the place and trauma harvesting, talking about themselves than Gus. A lot of them will suddenly get very sick and be in hospital, and of course want your support. Ignore those that just talk mainly about themselves. We don't want to know about them, just Gus. There are others on the edge of breakthrough and want your money. They talk in circles about nothing and promise to keep you updated. They're all phony. Listen with some discrimination and sane judgment if you dare to go there. Most of them are frauds or sadly deluded people. Just be a bit sensible. Yeah, that's a really, really good point, actually. To be honest, I don't really follow them. I've heard them in big cases like the Jay Slater case. He went missing in Tenerife. And some of them, there's only one or two that are very, very powerful and interesting and actually have worked out, helped worked out, find missing people or dead people in the UK, which are absolutely brilliant. But I don't use it as a way forward on my channel, to be honest with you. It's just passing conversation. As soon as they mentioned trans, granny, my eyes rolled. Kids had been got rid. Arrest the granddad. Yeah, yeah. Questions not serious over it. How stupid do they think the public are? Yeah, definitely. That's a really, really good point. Why does it hurt to check out the claims? Yeah, waste of valuable time and well-known grifting charlatan. I dream a life. Bit from Ali Harris there. Right, I'm gonna call it a day, people. Midnight Spares, thank you. Said if I forgot anyone's name, I will try and mention you another time. Chris McGrath, Roman, thank you. Helen, read your message. No one has mentioned when his father last saw him. His father, didn't someone say that he sees his kid every week or something? Gus every week. His father hasn't spoken to the media. Has he? That's very strange too. He plays in a band. He's not reclusive. We had something terrible happen, some close friends, and we were happy to do an interview with the media to talk about them. Little own your own child. Yeah, good point. Ben's photos. What if something went wrong inside the house of the property on the 27th or earlier so that this is kept a secret? Question mark. When does Gus' father last have contact with the boy, and when does anyone know the time and day they last saw him? Yeah, that's a really, really good point there. It's important, and a lot of people have said that where have not one family member or found work or even taken into the police station and questioned individually. Yeah. The thing is, they're quite a well known and respected family, aren't they? As well. Nailed it. And no L shaped ruler beside the blueprint. The investigation is a joke at best. And I think that's why they've gone in a second time. Agree now, because the public are not really that happy that the property hasn't said that it's been forensically searched as yet. Agree. How do we know he was playing in the sand pile? It was not Gus's print. Someone else says John Taylor. Right, I'm going to have to leave it there, people. Brilliant messages. If you didn't get, let me just read this one by Helen. How do we even know that this entire story is true? There were only 3 adults around. Something could have happened any time that week or even longer, depending on when he was last seen. No other family member have spoken. Could be a cover-up. We don't take many voters, but we could provide heaps of photos of our grandchildren. And yes, you're absolutely right about coming out and talking and appealing. I would guess that the grandfather Joseph is a narcissist who dominates his daughter and partner, because why is the daughter not with the husband partner if they are still a couple? Also, by the way, has anyone seen any sheep on that place, and who works on it? Sheep require effort, crutching, shearing, drenching and lambing, etc. Brilliant message. You're right. You're right. I agree. I agree. There must be some workers on there that haven't even been mentioned yet. When's the last time that Gus was seen? Has he been missing before? Good point. We don't know any of this because the family are not talking. David Williams, they say there is zero evidence guests left in the property. more like zero evidence that Gus left the property, or that perhaps he was never there in the first place. Yeah, I think a lot of people are coming to that. They really are. Yeah, this is my point. What 4-year-old would just wander off 3 to 5 kms away? They wouldn't transform them more than meets the eye. Someone else says, Mike. Interesting stuff. I remember the Transformers. Louisa, foul play. People are not happy. The Family Exchanges program for 4-year unsupervised. This is why. What if they had an accident and they're trying to cover it up? This is the main topic of conversation: an accident. Just a thought. Eureka says probably other questions to ask are who else wants at the property and the day watching the grand final. Grand final football matches are a big thing in Australian outback, and they could have been other visitors that day who left and Gus with them in the car. Also, no grand final matches complete without beer or drink. So how sober was everyone that day? Could the delay in calling the police have been due to having to sober up and clean up before the police came? Very true. Someone well trusted who was not out of place there. And you can't tell me someone like Josie does not have any friends, even if it is a farmhand or another local, who would not have looked out of place at the property that day, could have taken Gus with them in the car and they were leaving, question mark. Like, say, the people from the neighbouring properties who were also quite defensive. Could Gus have unknowingly crawled into the back of a UT, open small truck used on farms, or some drunken neighbour or local and fallen out along? Yeah, that's true. The highway at high speed, and it was a case of whoopsie, what do we do now? Who else is connected to this family? Just some thoughts. And how dominant is Josie in his daughter's life? What is the nature of the relationship? Josie's actually waited to transition after his own father passing, because he knew that his own father would never accept him as a transgender person, and so carried that secret with him all the time before coming out. People hold secrets in families because the family has been that era for so long, will well be respected, but sometimes well respected does not mean no dark secrets. Little Gus looks a lot like his mother, maybe even like he when she was a little girl. Just more questions. We can ask questions, can't we? That isn't spreading fake news. Examining the prosecutor also was the big hole next to the sandhills Gus was playing, and that he fell into and the sandhill collapsed in him and he tried to get out. All questions with answers. Have the police examined Sandhill? Child attracted adults, they are called paedophiles, sometimes rock spiders, and they're everywhere. Evil creatures that you. Thank you for the info, South Australia. Thank you. Right, all done, people. I thank you all and really appreciate your support. And I've tried to read as many messages as I can and be back soon. Thank you. Don't forget to just press the button. It's free to subscribe to Streamline Investigations and to keep up with all the latest news. Appreciate you all. Thank you.